What up, everybody? I am Coach Mims, and welcome to my YouTube channel called In Between Sets. Today we have AKA Coach Shawn in the building. So we're going to talk to Coach Shawn about the struggles when you go from fat to skinny. I'm gonna say, when you go from fat to skinny, we're gonna talk about that today. And we're gonna talk about what it took for her to get on this journey of fitness. But before we get into talking about it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I appreciate all the love and support out there. I appreciate all the hate that's going on out there. So, anyways, we're gonna get back into it. You know what time it is. We're going to do a set, and then we're going to talk to y'all. So right now, we're going to do a set, then we're going to come back and talk to y'all. You ready, Shawn?
No.
Why you not ready? Come on, sis.
The struggle.
There ain't no struggles. Come on, sis. Let's get this word. That first set, baby, burn a little bit. It burns. Let's go. There we go. We always talk trash to each other, so that's how we motivate. That's how we motivate each other.
He's ready.
We
Let's
talk
just
trash.
be real, he's ready.
But anyway, so let's get into it. So me and you met about 7 years ago, right? 8 years ago?
About 7.
About 7 years ago. So 7 years ago, I was working at a hospital. Can't tell y'all where that's at because we don't want to get copyright or anything like that. But anyway, I was working at a hospital and we met through a mutual friend.
Shout out to my girl Adele, BFF.
We met through a mutual friend, and Coach Shawn is the first female that I've ever trained. I've never trained a female up until her. And we're going to talk about it a little bit. So when we met, you asked me to train you. At first I said no. And then we exchanged numbers and everything. And then after a while, I eventually said yes. So take me on that journey of when you started training with me. Let's talk about the first day.
Well, let's kind of give a little background.
Okay.
So when I first met Coach, I had a lot of health issues going on. At the time. I was suffering with diabetes, something called fibromyalgia, that actually caused me to walk away from my full-time job because I was in so much pain on a daily basis. I was dealing with blood pressure issues, and I also have a condition called hypothyroid. When I was 17 years old, I was diagnosed with overactive thyroid, and long story short, at the time, my parents did what they thought was best for me, and I had what was called a radioactive iodine treatment that basically killed my thyroid function. So I no longer have normal function of my thyroid. I don't have a thyroid, basically. And I'm dependent on medication for the rest of my life for that. So anybody who knows thyroid, what that function does in your body, it basically controls everything. Everything you can think of in your body, your thyroid basically has a part in controlling it. So when I met Coach Mims.
So let me stop you right there. So we're not gonna get technical into like this control. So basically your thyroid is like almost like your kidneys. It helps filter things through your body.
For lack of better, for plain understanding.
So for plain understanding. Okay, so you come to me, you tell me all these health issues that you got, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to train her. And at that time, what was your current weight at that time?
At that time, I weighed 262 pounds.
Oh, Jesus.
Petty, see what I'm saying? Petty,
Jesus.
real petty.
You
Petty.
mean 200?
U.S. pounds,
not kilos?
Not kilogram, yes, U.S. pounds.
U.S. pounds, 260 U.S. pounds. Jesus.
Okay, we can move on.
Okay, we okay. I'm sorry. We always joke with each other. So at that time you was 260 pounds. So is weight something you struggle with your whole entire life, or tell us a little bit about it?
It was. I actually, in high school, I was very overweight until I found out about my thyroid issue, and I actually dropped weight. Not working out or anything like that. It was because of my thyroid. That's kind of how I knew I had thyroid issues. But when I was in high school, I used to wear a size 22 women's clothing, and
like 22, like big, like 22-inch rims, big, or like.
Anyway.
So you had the big granny panties like that when you was in high school?
And I had gotten down to like a size, because of my thyroid issues, I had gotten down to like a size 6 because of my thyroid. So I have struggled with weight pretty much my whole life. I would say I wouldn't say my whole life, I would say probably from 8th grade through high school, I struggled with weight.
So throughout high school, you struggled with weight?
Yeah.
Okay. So throughout high school, you struggled with weight. Then you finally, what was the final, so to speak, nail in the coffin for you when you was like, yo, I'm tired of looking like this. I'm tired of being unhealthy. I'm just sick and tired. What was your moment?
So for me, I can honestly say that I was not concerned because of how ill I was or how bad I felt it was back in 2009, 9 or 10, about 2010, because that's when the onset of all of my stuff really kind of started, the fibromyalgia, the diabetes, and stuff like that. But I wasn't concerned about how I looked in the mirror, and I think as women, we do deal with a lot of self-image issues. I was more concerned about how I felt. I didn't feel like I was a 30-year-old, 29, 30-year-old. I felt like I was 70 years old. My body felt like it was breaking down. So for me, the turning point was going to doctors, them pumping me with all type of drugs. I was taking 5 insulin shots a day and 2 diabetes medications. I was taking stuff for my fibromyalgia.
So let's touch on that a little bit. We're gonna touch on all of the medications that she was going through. So you know what time it is. We're gonna hit a set and we're gonna come back and talk to y'all. Alright, so we left off on the type of medications that you were taking. So because you were overweight and you had so many health issues, it came with a price. So what was the price that it came to? You were naming some of the medicines that the doctor put you on. So kind of quickly, briefly, what kind of medications that you were on?
I was on 2 different types of insulins, 2 different types of oral medications for diabetes. I was also taking my daily thyroid medication. I was taking sleep, or what you may want to call it, something to make me sleep. Because what I didn't mention also was during all this that was going on, I was also going through a divorce as well. So I needed something that helped me sleep. So stress was a big issue for me, which caused my blood pressure to go up. So they put me on a small dose of blood pressure medication as well. And then for my fibromyalgia, I was taking, like, they rotated me between 2 different medications for that, which totally made me feel horrible.
So I always joke with people, you know, there's always a running joke with me when I joke with people, and I said, well, shit, you ain't gotta pay me, but you gonna pay somebody. So how much money were you spending, even though you had insurance at that time, how much money you were spending every month on medication? Because a lot of people they want to quickly say, like, oh, I can get in shape myself, I don't need to pay for a trainer. Well, you ain't got to pay for me, but you gonna pay somebody. So tell them how much money you were spending a month on medication.
A month? I can say for insulin alone, because I was on so much, I was paying over $500 a month out of pocket. That's with insurance covering their part.
$500 a month on one medication, which was insulin. $500 a month. Okay, you gotta pay a bag to come see me too, but it ain't $500 a month. You know what I'm saying? It's nowhere near $500 a month, but you still gotta spend a little bag with me to come get yourself right. So that's one medication. So what's another medication that you were spending?
With my co-pays, I would say with all of the other medications, it probably another $115.
So we're gonna round it up. So with the medication, doctor visits, because when you're on this type of medication, you gotta have doctor visits like at least once a month. So you add in all that. So she probably was spending roughly between close to $700 a month on prescriptions and doctor visits. Prescriptions and doctor visits, she's spending $700 a month. When you first came to me, how much were you spending on training? When you first came to me?
I basically just had a membership at Snap Fitness.
You had a membership at Snap Fitness? Okay.
That was it. So and that was like what, 29? 30?
So you were spending 29, 30, and then you were spending probably what, another 200 and something a month to come see me?
Yeah. At
that particular time. So she went from spending y'all do the numbers. She went from spending a little over $700 a month for medication and doctor visits to only spending maybe $260 a month for a personal trainer and stuff to do outside of here, which was another gym to go to. So she was spending a little like $260 somewhere in that neighborhood range. So think about it. She's saving money, she's saving her life, and she's getting her life in order, and she's paying less money. Y'all do the math on that. All right, so we passed that stage where let's fast forward a little bit to where you talk about when you start losing the weight. So when you start losing the weight, how are you feeling starting to lose the weight?
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. The very first session, I lasted maybe 10 minutes. He gonna be petty again and say it was 5.
It was 5.
But I know it was 10.
It was 5.
It was a good 10. It was a good 10.
It was 5.
It was a good 10. I'm gonna give myself 10.
10 was the stretch. It was the warm up stretch. You know what I'm saying? That was the warm up stretch.
10 minutes. But and the reason why is because I was so out of shape, so overweight, and let me just do a quick plug here. Anybody who is intimidated by the videos that Coach Mims posts or that we post on our page because you don't think you can do it, like you defeated yourself already. I've never been one of those people. I'm very competitive, and he'll tell you like anything he gave me, I tried to do it. Even if I couldn't, I would never want to let him see me sweat. But the first session was horrible for me, and I wanted to quit. I absolutely wanted to quit, and it wasn't anything that he was giving me that was hard. It wasn't weights. It was basically functional activities that you do on a daily basis. Walk up and down stairs, push the cart, grocery cart. I just couldn't do it repetitively because I was so out of shape.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna get into how I do what I do. You can research me and you'll see. But a lot of times people don't know when they see a video of me putting it out. That person has been through a journey. And they're finally at the point of time in their journey to where they feel comfortable with me filming them and I feel comfortable filming them. So what time it is, we're gonna hit a set and we're gonna come back and talk to y'all. Oh, yes sir. Let's get it. Alright, so now we're back and we left off on what we were talking about as far as like you're losing the weight. So a running joke used to be, I used to mess with her, she used to wear big girl clothes. So that means when she it was a mental thing for her. It's like when she lost the weight, she was still wearing them big baggy clothes to the point, it was crazy because it was to the point she kept wearing them and her clothes was falling down, and I used to tie her sweatpants and stuff up like this with a rubber band so it would stay up. It was ridiculous. One day I like literally kicked her out of the gym because I was so tired of her wearing these big behind gym clothes. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so there's something called body dysmorphia. It's real. I still experience it to this day. I still can't get past wearing the big clothes sometimes. And basically what that is you look in the mirror and you still see, I still saw 262 pounds. Every time I looked in the mirror, I still saw 262. And I still struggle with that today. So for me, I didn't recognize until one day when I decided to just take a leap and buy some clothes that actually fit.
No, she got kicked out the damn gym for wearing big ass clothes that didn't fit her, and I was tired of twisting her waistband up and putting rubber bands on it. I was tired. I had enough. Enough was enough. So that forced her to go and buy gym clothes that fit. Now, let's talk about when you went and bought them gym clothes. So remember in the first of the video, she said she wore a size 22. So she went from a size 22 to what was the first size that when you tried it on, what was it?
The first size that I, women's size was an 8 that I tried on.
Hold up. So you went, hold up, let's rewind this a little bit. So you went from wearing a size 22 to a size 8?
I was a size 8. And when I put it on, I couldn't believe it myself because I was, like I said, I was still used to wearing even my regular clothes to work and everything like that. I was still used to wearing bigger clothes. And it was like when I finally wore something that fit, even on my job, everybody, it was just like, oh my gosh, Shonda, we didn't know, you lost a lot of weight. And it was just coming left and right, everybody. So mentally, I couldn't really wrap my head around the fact that I had lost so much weight in a short amount of time. Because what it took me to lose the amount of weight that I lost, most people it takes a year plus to lose that amount of weight. So I just couldn't grasp the concept or wrap my head around that I had lost that amount of weight in that short amount of time. So I struggled with that.
So when you say mentally, you still saw yourself as 260 pound Shonda?
Yep.
Always.
I still felt like.
So what got you over that hurdle?
I think the more that I kept working out, the more that I really got into it and made it my lifestyle. I really started to embrace it more because it became a part of me. I started to really truly enjoy working out. I felt some type of way when I didn't work out or didn't come to the gym. So for me, I think it was just that when it became a part of my lifestyle and a part of me, really, it helped me mentally get over that hurdle.
So you over the hurdle, you doing things, you dressing, you know what I'm saying, you dress in a certain way, like you went from a size 22 to a size 8. So how, like, what was the reaction, you know, when on Facebook and social media and stuff like that, like when pictures started surfacing of you, this new body and new you, like how did people take that? Like how did things go?
I mean, we've talked about it before, like DMs. Like I was getting a lot of DMs.
They slid in the DM. They slid all in.
They were sliding. I didn't bite.
So how did because guys, y'all know when we see something that look like something and we like, oh, she cute, and then all of a sudden we see her again, we like, oh, we slide in the DM. You know what I'm saying? So did that take you? So mentally, did that mess with you a little bit mentally? Because it's like, hey, I'm me. Like, what, like, or did you take it the other approach? Like, oh yeah, this is me. This the new me. This how I look now. Like, how did you take that? Because that's another mental.
No, it is mental energy. I can say both ways for me. Like, it's an ego booster. It's an ego booster for a male and a female, like who gets that type of attention. But that's never my personality. And I took it as like, what was the difference between Shonda who was overweight and Shonda who's skinny as far as inside? Like me, my personality didn't change. I never allowed that to happen to me. Like I'm still the same person that I was before. A little more outspoken because the more I was able to start lifting, it empowered me, so to speak, because like I said earlier, I'm very competitive. And I had no idea that, you know, even when I started posting my before and after pictures and the videos of me working out, like so many men were like, they found my workout videos attractive. Like I was getting some messages like,
oh yeah, listen.
And I'm like, I'm all sweated up, like hair's messed up, like, and I'm not one of those cute in the gym.
That's what I be trying to tell people. Like, yo, the most sexiest thing to a man, one of the most sexiest things to a man is when he see a woman working out, when the workout match the body. You understand what I'm saying? When the workout match the body, bro, I'm talking.
I had no idea on my squat big, especially when I posted videos of me squatting, like I was squatting like 225 plus, and it was just like, DM was going up, like, and I'm like, really? I had no clue, and probably because I didn't used to work out like this before, but I had no clue that was attractive to men at all.
I'm telling, listen, I've had numerous of women that were like, their marriage was on the tail end, like it was about to be over, and they just come in here because mentally they kind of like a little bit checked out of the marriage, so they come in here to really just work on themselves and to create a new them. So. And I always laugh, you know what I'm saying, when somebody say, oh, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, my wife this, my wife that, and it's just like, yeah, your wife is your wife, but it's like she transformed into something that she used to be, you know, and I'm not knocking any woman that, you know, life happens. You get married, you get comfortable. You start, for women, you start having kids, your life, your body change, and you're not able to get back to the old you. So a lot of times, you know, as men, we are attracted to the old version of how our wife used to be, body-wise. They're still the same person for the most part, but their body changes, and you're like, man, I remember when my wife used to look like da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, you don't have the heart to tell your wife because you love your wife. So you don't have the heart to tell her, like, look, babe, like, let's go work out together. And some men do. Some men try that, and it just doesn't work out. It creates more friction. So I know personally, I have saved some marriages in my course of my time as being a trainer, because the men look.
Marriage saver, guys. Coach Mims, come to
I don't know about that shit. I couldn't save my own damn marriage, so I know the shit. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't save my marriage. You know what I'm saying?
No, but all jokes aside, it is definitely an ego boost. older, and I can say that, you know, for me, when I say I didn't bite, it was because I didn't never want the weight loss to change who I am as a person, because I've seen it with a lot of women. Their whole personality and demeanor, it just changes. And I'm very laid back. I'm a behind the scenes. I'm not that type of person or whatever. So I didn't want it to do that. And in addition to that, like, I also wanted to stay focused on, because I knew that, like we're talking about, the mental of trying to keep it off. Losing it, I can say losing it was probably the easiest part. Not easy in that sense, but the easiest part. But to maintain it has been a struggle.
To keep it off.
It's definitely
it's a whole nother level. Like, a lot of people think once you lose the weight, like, it's easy to keep the weight off, and it's not. It's actually harder to keep the weight off, because you're doing all of these new things. You're going out, and it's a different. You know what? We're gonna do another set, and then we're gonna get back into like how she maintained everything, far as when it comes to the nightlife and going out and stuff like that.
But let me just add before we go to the next set, though. One thing that I would add and say when it comes to the looking in the mirror and seeing something that you don't like or whatever. Like, for me, I inherited top heaviness from my family. Shout out to my aunts. And all the other women after me that Coach Mims trained, that was like the first thing to go. Women are like, oh, they come in and they say, oh, I don't want to lose my breasts, I don't want to lose my butt. I was the opposite. I'm like, I want to get rid of some of this or whatever. And for me, it didn't, I was top heavy still, and I was small everywhere else. So for me, in my mind, when I looked at myself, I still saw that 262-pound woman too. And, you know, Coach had to relay to me and tell me a lot of times that women, some women are just naturally blessed with
certain body parts. You know what I'm saying? Some women got the padunk. You know what I'm saying? Some women, they got the nice cannon sitting up at top. You know what I'm saying? It's just different according to your genes. Some women got nice curvy hips. You know what I'm saying? They hippie. It makes it look like they got a butt, but they really ain't got a butt. They just hippie. It's making it look like that. It's just whatever, you know, runs in your family, whatever genes runs in your family. So
yeah, so that, I think for me, that was one of the toughest parts for me to get over mentally too, was that I had to accept that part of me in the weight loss process, because I kept thinking in my head, like, you're gonna look so in proportion, like, you know, whatever. And that was a mental thing that I had to get over too. So
all right, so we're gonna get to the next set. All right, so we left off on the struggles in the fight to actually keep the weight off for a long period of time. So what were some of the struggles you went through to keep the weight off?
So lifestyle came into play. Over the years, I've traveled a lot for my regular job, and it's just tough when you're traveling to try to continue to eat healthy and work out when you're on the road. And I was going for, you know, a week or two at a time. So that was a struggle for me over the years, was to try to maintain when I wasn't local here.
So let me ask you, not to interrupt you, but I'm gonna ask you a question, and I know I'm only asking a question because I get asked these questions all the time, and I see a lot of other people weight loss journey blogs and stuff like that when I'm doing my research. So a lot of the things that a lot of women said, they have hard times with choices when they go out with their friends, like a nightlife. So the nightlife is where they struggle at. So let's talk about a little bit about that, like your choices when you went out with friends, like your food choices, your drinks, if you had any alcohol beverages or anything like that.
My motto is everything in moderation. So when going out to eat and hanging out and stuff like that, like, you can't, because it's a lifestyle change, you don't want to necessarily limit yourself or feel like you're confined in this box and you can't do anything. I've never been a heavy drinker or anything like that, but going out and stuff like that, I I used to do the old trick of sometimes I'll put cranberry juice and ask for cranberry juice instead of actual.
So you went with the old. I call it in college. So what a lot of people don't know about me is, so I was always skeptical about what I put in my body. So I didn't start drinking until I was 27 years old. I know for a lot of people, they started drinking when they were like 20, 21, 19 and stuff like that. I didn't have my first taste of alcohol until I was 27 years old because I was always afraid of what to put in my body. So when I say 52 fake out, that's something that I used to do in college. So I would go and get a cranberry juice and act like I had something to drink in it. So nobody ever asked me if I drink or anything like that. And I always went and got my drink myself. So that way when I came back with a cup and they were like, oh, okay, Mills turned up, he going. But little did they know, Mills either had water or he had cranberry juice. One of those two. I did not have that going down.
And he still did that South Carolina two-step.
You know what I'm saying? I was two-stepping with my drink. That's what I was doing. I was, you know what I'm saying? I created the illusion like I was drinking, but I didn't drink. So
and it's tough because, like when you're in that environment, you feel like you wanna splurge a little bit. But like I said, everything in moderation. I try to tell my clients that come here, you have to make this a part of you, and you can't make yourself feel like you're doing something wrong if you indulge every once in a while. Because I don't eat meat or dairy, I'm a very heavy carb eater, and which is not good if I'm not working out. Again, the struggles of having a full-time job, being, running a business, being a trainer, is like you have to try to fit that in somewhere. So I started eating way more carbs, not working out, and you start seeing those pounds slowly creep back up.
So one of the things I do for my clients when they come here is, for the first 3 months, they're not even allowed to have juice. All they're allowed to drink is water. And then I tell them when we hit month 3, you can have 1 day of whatever you choose to eat. So she was part of that first experiment that I did with that, and it worked out. I've stuck with that plan. I've done that plan for years, and it works. And nobody takes advantage.
And two, at that point in time, a lot of clients who go on that 3 months, like I have clients who coffee, they have to have at least 2 cups of coffee every day in order for them to feel like they can survive. But after starting the program and going through that 3 months of going basically cold turkey, by the time they can indulge in that, instead of it being every day 2 cups of coffee, they don't even want it like that. Their body doesn't crave it like that. So it's about getting to know your body too throughout this process and what works for you. It's not a one size fit all. Every client that comes in here has different body type, different, issues that are going on. So, it's definitely not a one size fit all, but we can provide recommendations to people to allow them to figure out what works.
And let's be honest, because food, everybody loves food. I'm a foodie. I love food, but I know I have to do it in moderation. So for you, when you were little, what was the number one food that you loved?
So not even when I was little. That's what attributed to my 260. I was a little Debbie cake girl. So I used to like Swiss cake rolls and Nutty Bars. And I used to unroll that Swiss cake roll.
Hold up, sis.
And eat that cream in the middle. Y'all know that cream in the middle.
So listen, them joints is rolled tight.
Yeah, I used to.
My boys that smoke, they know that that thing roll. So you unrolling it?
I unrolled it I don't know why with Little Debbie cakes and even the Nutty Bars, I had to take them apart, take the layers apart to eat the Nutty Bars.
Girl, you was a true fat girl, huh?
Really?
You was a true fat
Really?
Yo, if you taking the time to unroll a Debbie cake?
I did.
Girl.
I had to eat the cream in the middle first, and then I know some of y'all can relate. Y'all looking at me funny, but if y'all tell the truth, y'all can relate. I did. That was my thing, and that attributed to I used to, and that's why I say I recognize for me certain things that triggers for me, and you have to recognize what that is for you. For me, it used to be sugar. I used to just love sugar. I used to love sweets. That was my thing. But like I said, once you mentally get over the hurdle and really think that you can accomplish something and do something, you can absolutely do it. I mean, you can absolutely do it. So that's the mindset that I have now, and that's why for me it's been so long of me keeping the weight off and not really going up more than 15 pounds at one time as far as fluctuation goes, because I've mentally gotten to a point where I'm like, I'm not going back. Like, there is nothing, absolutely nothing. And now, even though when I first started the journey, I was more so focused on health and getting well and stuff like that, I can be honest and say, like, now I'm to the point where I do want to look, I want to look the part.
You ain't trying to go back to that 22. You ain't trying to ride 22 again.
That was real petty.
Oh,
That was real.
That was real though.
That was real.
Listen,
That was real petty.
you went from a 22 to an 8.
22.
You would ride 22 on, so you're right.
That was petty, but it's all good. But
Listen,
no,
I know because I used to roll your clothes up. I used to roll it up, put a rubber band around it.
But I never had any, I can honestly say too that I never had any self-confidence issues in that sense, because I was always the girl that, you got a pretty face, but she's just a little overweight or whatever. So I was like you always call me the homie. I was like that, that female that I grew up with our brothers, so I like sports and football, basketball, and all of that, so I could talk the language and all of that stuff. So I was that. I never was, because I was around guys all the time, but it wasn't on that level. It was just on some mad cool type stuff. So I never had any confidence level issues like that. It was just, like I said, at the time I had so many health issues, and that's what kind of jump started me.
That's what kind of jump started.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, I want to thank Shonda for coming out.
I did not want to do this. I'm not a camera
She
girl.
is not a camera person at all.
In the background.
Oh yeah, she's nice with the camera. She be following me with my blogs. But I want to, so much thank you for getting this story out here and sharing it with people. And we're gonna come back and do a part 2. We definitely doing a part 2.
We have to do a part 2 because I feel like, and I just want to say this before we close, like, I follow a lot of different Instagram workout gurus, a lot of females that's doing their thing, no pun against them, but I feel like a lot of them provide a false representation of
They be lying.
how
They be lying. They be lying. They be lying.
how they got to
They be going to get that work done. They be going to see my man Dr. Miami, going to get that work done. Then after they heal up, they start the little workout exercises, talking about, just the workout plan I was on. They be capping.
So I felt like I wanted to share my story because there are a lot of real women out there who go through real issues. I haven't been blessed to have any children, but I know a lot of women that are my clients who they struggle with that, life after giving birth and all that. But a lot of the women that are kind of trying to, make a dime off of consumers, they don't really tell you the truth. And the reason why I agreed with Coach Mims to do this is because I wanted to kind of get the reality of the situation.
Oh, part 2 gonna be crazy because we're gonna talk about she got some things. It's the price you pay when you go from big to skinny. Some women have a lot of loose skin. Some women have a lot of stretch marks when they go from big to skinny.
And I actually dealt with bone issue. Like after I lost the weight, I had to go to an orthopedic because my knee started hurting extremely bad. And we'll talk about that.
We're going to talk about that. But once again, we want to thank Shonda for being on the In Between Sets podcast talk. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I try to drop a video at least once a week, depending on how the flow of the things of the gym go. But we're gonna get consistent, and we're gonna stay consistent with this.
I want to put my plug in before he close out.
Oh yeah,
Anybody in the
Go
Delaware,
plug in.
Maryland area, women who want to train and is looking for a trainer that has been where you are, knows what you're going through, contact us. The details will be in the bottom comment section of this video. Also, for those of you who don't believe it and who have not seen any parts of my story, I will be sharing some photos before of how I looked prior.
All right, she doing too much. You trying to get paid, I'm trying to get paid too.
I'm trying to get
anyway,
paid.
We're going to see y'all next time. Thanks for coming out. Shawn, get back to work.